So we just got confirmation that Samsung is actually going with one of the worst design decisions I've ever seen on a Galaxy Ultra. But at the same time, the S27 Ultra is shaping up to be a pretty serious upgrade in some other areas. Let's get into it. What's up guys, Sal here. So a couple of days ago, we got our first look at Samsung's new design for the Galaxy S27 Ultra, featuring this huge camera plateau very similar to what we've seen on the latest iPhones. But there was still some hope that this wasn't the final design, that surely Samsung wouldn't actually go ahead with something like this. Well, we can put those hopes to rest because All Leaks has now confirmed that Samsung is indeed going with this design for the S27 Ultra. If you're not familiar with On Leaks, his renders are based on official CAD dimensions that Samsung sends to case manufacturers, so these are about as close to the final design as we can get. But putting the camera design aside for a moment, the phone looks pretty much identical to the S26 Ultra from the front. The shape, thickness, and overall design are essentially unchanged. The good news though is that the S Pen is still there. So yeah, Samsung is increasing the S26 Ultra's battery capacity by 700 mAh, but thankfully that isn't coming at the expense of the S Pen. Now we also had some doubts about what the S27 Pro would look like, but those have been cleared as well. Both the S27 Ultra and the Pro will get this new camera design, while the regular S27 and the Plus variant will carry over the design from the S26 lineup. And here are the display sizes for all the four S27 models. The S27 Pro basically shares most of the Ultra specs in a more compact form factor, but without the S Pen support. So yeah, Samsung is actually going with this design. They looked at the iPhone's giant camera plateau and said, yep, we want one of those too. Sure, Apple wasn't the first company to use a camera plateau, but let's be honest, we all know where Samsung got the inspiration from. And I genuinely don't know what Samsung was thinking here. We went from one of the cleanest smartphone designs out there to whatever this is. Now to be fair, this design does have some benefits. It eliminates camera wobble, makes magnetic accessory attachment easier, and gives Samsung more room to fit a bigger battery. All of that sounds great, but here's the thing. They could have achieved all of that without making the phone look like this. They could have literally just rotated the S26 Ultra's camera module and you'd get the same practical benefits while retaining a design that actually looked clean. It would have looked infinitely better than what we're getting here. But hey, this is Samsung we're talking about. Apparently, when it comes to design, the question isn't does this look good? It's how closely we can make this look like an iPhone. Anyway, moving on, we also have some more updates about the S27 Ultra, starting with the chipset. This year, Qualcomm is making two Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6 chips. One is the regular Gen 6 and the other is the Extreme Gen 6. Obviously, the S27 Ultra will feature the Extreme version, and what's impressive is that this will be the first smartphone chip to break the 5 GHz barrier. That's up from 4.6 GHz on its predecessor, so that's quite a notable jump. Do we really need that much power on a phone? That's another question, but hey, one potential use case is Samsung DeX. With this kind of performance, the S27 Ultra could potentially get even closer to replacing a laptop for some people, especially when you pair it with a monitor, keyboard, and a mouse. And honestly, that's where all this extra performance starts to make a lot more sense. You probably don't need a 5 GHz smartphone just to scroll through Instagram or watch YouTube. But if Samsung can actually take advantage of that horsepower in DeX and make it feel more like a proper desktop experience, then this kind of performance could have a real purpose. Now, if you're wondering which of the S27 phones will get what chipset, we don't have any concrete information yet, but if you ask me, both the S27 Ultra and the Pro should get the Extreme Gen 6, while the base model should get the regular Gen 6. Samsung is also working on the Exynos 2700, but that will likely be region specific, and personally I think only the base models will get that chip, while the Pro and Ultra should stick with Snapdragon exclusively worldwide. And finally, Samsung has apparently changed its mind about bringing one of the camera upgrades to the S27 Ultra that the iPhone 18 Pro Max is also expected to get. Click here to find out more, and I'll see you there.